Hey everyone, I'm Dre Demira here today with Guitar World, and in this video lesson, we're going to master tremolo picking on electric guitar. You'll learn how to apply this versatile technique to your guitar playing from surf rock to black metal. Tremolo picking is a guitar technique where a note is repeated rapidly using alternating up and down strokes. Its origins go back centuries in both Eastern and Western musical cultures, commonly used on acoustic instruments that don't sustain like mandolin or oud, to create the illusion of a long-held note. First, let's look at a few basics. When tremolo picking, we use alternating down and up strokes, with the motion coming from the wrist, not the forearm. Imagine your wrist is like the seconds hand on a watch or clock, mechanically ticking back and forth in rhythm. The pick angle is important. Holding the pick flush with the strings makes the technique unnecessarily difficult. Tilt your pick 15 or 20 degrees toward the higher strings. This eliminates resistance and creates a better tone. Tremolo picking isn't always just about playing as fast as possible. Rhythm and syncopation are important. We'll be using two primary rhythms: a 16th note tremolo, notated by 2 diagonal slashes through the note stem, and an unmeasured tremolo, notated by 3 diagonal slashes through the note stem. The unmeasured tremolo instructs us to squeeze as many notes as possible into the given note duration, while the 16th note tremolo tells us to play 16th notes in the space of the written note. For instance, in the space of a quarter note, we'd have 4 16th notes. When playing 16th notes, the picking motion will be more controlled and precise. However, when playing 32nd notes or sextuplets in the space of an unmeasured tremolo note, it'll become mechanically impossible to control each individual stroke, especially at high speeds. For this, we'll need to rely on the twitch technique, which is like a controlled spasm of the wrist. To nail the twitch, exhale and relax your shoulder and elbow. Then focus on shaking your wrist back and forth as quickly as possible. The second you feel the muscles in your elbow or collarbone tighten up, relax, reset, and try again. Example 1, surf rock or Dick Dale style. The surf rock craze in the early 60s is one of tremolo picking's first big moments on electric. Dick Dale uses a springy clean tone with his pick close to the bridge. This riff uses a controlled 16th note tremolo throughout. Notice the accents on the 7th fret B. Dick Dale wanted to emulate the sound of big band drummer Gene Krupa, and uses syncopated accents to mimic the bombastic dynamics of a fast tom fill rolling across the drum kit. You don't have to copy my accents exactly, feel free to add your own feel to the groove. Example 2, Van Halen goes classical. On the Little Guitars intro, Eddie does his take on a classical tremolo technique popularized by composer Francisco Tárrega. This involves holding a long, drone-like tremolo on a high open string, while hammering onto notes on the lower strings to create a counter melody. For the unmeasured tremolo rhythm, we'll need to rely on the aforementioned twitch technique to squeeze in as many notes on the open string as possible. You can isolate just this part of the example to practice, again, gradually increasing speed and then resetting and going again each time. This example also uses the hammer-on from nowhere technique. where we hammer on to a fretted note without first plucking another note on that same string. If you're having trouble with this particular part of the lick, my 10 guitar tips also on the Guitar World YouTube channel can help you with some exercises. Example number 3, Jonny Greenwood of Radiohead. Jonny Greenwood uses tremolo picking in many of his solos and lead guitar parts, and octaves are what set his style apart from previous examples. Spread across 3 strings, we need to use a wider wrist movement to tremolo pick across this distance. This means the hand is positioned more like a funk guitarist, with the wrist out and the hand tilted towards the strings. Now rhythmically, we start with 16th note tremolos on the octave A, then switch to unmeasured tremolos. First on C sharp, then on a false note C, where we're playing 2 of the same note across different strings. In the final bar, we have rapid unmeasured tremolos through the A minor pentatonic scale, ending on a gradually bent note 20 to 22. This example really shows us how we can combine different articulations, timings, and techniques like octaves and double stops with the tremolo technique. Now let's get heavy. We're going to look at tremolo picking in different styles of metal, from thrash to black metal. These more extreme styles really began developing in the early 80s and have more or less persisted into modern metal, all of the core genres, and things like progressive death. There are a lot of similarities when it comes to tremolo picking across these styles, but also some idiosyncrasies that make them unique that we'll look at in each example. Example 4. Slayer! Thrash-style tremolo picking relies on a measured 16th note tremolo against a blistering double-time drum beat, using dissonant intervals with a distorted tone, often across a single string. Slayer-style tremolos like these can be heard during the outros of Postmortem and Raining Blood. Like I said, the riff uses measured 16th note tremolos except for the last 2 notes, which switch to an unmeasured rapid tremolo for more intensity on the turnaround. Example 5. Death metal. Tremolo picking in death metal uses more unmeasured tremolos for an ultra-aggressive, extreme, and angular style. It often alternates between fast, tremolo-picked riffs punctuated by chordal stabs or accents. In this sense, we've gravitated far and away from the unbroken, percussive style of tremolo picking found in example 1. This riff offers a fun challenge that's widely applicable in more modern metal styles, switching between muted power chords and fast tremolo-picked runs, something you can easily incorporate into your riffing and songwriting. At 200 BPM, the unmeasured tremolos in this example can be tendinitis-inducing. To avoid this, try angling your pick at an even sharper angle, which will further reduce tension when cutting through the strings quickly at speed. Example 6. Black metal. Melodic arpeggios and scalular lines are the unique attribute of tremolo picking in black metal. Pioneered by players like Euronymous of Mayhem, this style uses tremolo picking across arpeggiated chords and monophonic lines to bring an aggressive edge to the melody, often over a very dissonant or dark chord progression and blast beats at extreme speeds. At 220 BPM, this example is actually using measured 16th note tremolos, although it can feel unmeasured just due to the sheer speed. But if you listen closely, you'll hear that I'm playing a measured and controlled number of notes on each tone. For an authentic black metal sound, don't mute the strings. This gives you a razor sharp and very metal sounding attack. I really do recommend chunking this one out and practicing it bar by bar before you try to attempt the entire thing. The line changes keys so the fingerings can feel a little alien and mess with your perception of the fretboard. So practice each bar and then combining one bar at a time. Thank you for watching. Drop a like and a comment if you found this lesson helpful, and don't forget to subscribe to GuitarWorld.com.